All right, so I don't know if any of you heard, but of course, Ron Paul had his final jab at the Ben Bernanke, and as CNN Money here puts it, Bernanke fought back in what is likely to be the last showdown between Ron Paul and Ben Bernanke. The Federal Reserve Chairman once again fought back against the congressman's calls to audit the Federal Reserve. Representative Ron Paul, a Republican from Texas and author of In the Fed, has been trying for years to pass a law that would give Congress the ability to examine the central bank's decision-making process. Now, he's closer than ever before after his colleagues voted last month to finally take up his bill on the House floor. The vote is expected to happen next week. It's important, though, not to confuse the aim of the bill with a financial audit. The Federal Reserve's finances are already audited every year by an independent accounting firm. Bullshit. I bet you $10 is all faulty information. Why? Because if it were truthful information, it might hurt the economy. So we're justified in giving faulty information. The central bank also publishes its balance sheet every Thursday online, which I'm sure is perfect and truthful. Completely above board. Instead, what Paul is aiming for is a full investigation of the way the Fed determines monetary policy. Those deliberations currently take place behind closed doors. Minutes are released with a 3-week lag, and full transcripts are published only 5 years after the collapse. After the fact. Bernanke, speaking at a hearing about the economy and monetary policy Wednesday, said he prefers to keep it that way to protect the Fed's independence. Having congressional investigators in the room could, quote, create a political influence and have a, quote, chilling effect, the chairman said. Oh no. The Bernanke said he could envision a nightmare scenario where Congress would disagree with a Fed decision on interest rates and try to get other agencies, such as the GAO, to review it. Oh my gosh. A review. Oh, that's a chilling effect. Bullshit. Current law also protects the Federal Reserve from audits that reveal transactions with foreign central banks and governments, the reserves of its member banks, and discussions among its employees about these issues. Reforming. We already know all this bullshit. So, it's an interesting dynamic because the Federal Reserve is both private and government, which is like impossible. It's the one entity which has somehow remained both government and private. It's whenever they need the government cred, I believe they used it as a way to keep that building, the Federal Reserve Bank, the building in New York. I forget. I read the book, a little bit of the book. Crap. Yeah, what's that big ass book on the Federal Reserve? Secrets of the Temple. I read some of it. I haven't got through the whole thing, obviously, because it's freaking huge and it's pretty boring. But from what I remember, the Fed it does this all the time. When it's in the court of law, one time it'll argue, well, it's a private entity and it needs to be able to do this. And then the next minute in the court of law, they'll argue that it's a government entity and it needs to be able to do this. Only the Fed can get away with this, which just illustrates how truly diabolical and evil it really is. So, and then there was some other good news. If we go to the Daily Caller here, it wasn't quite as like the person who wrote the post made you think, oh, I want my Ron Paul chocolate bar though, but maybe later. The Ben Bernanke pummeled by C-SPAN callers who say Ron Paul is right. Yeah, it wasn't very pummeled. There were 2 people that mentioned Ron Paul, so it was kind of cool to see that. But in general, I thought the tenor of the calls were interesting and kind of a sign of the times that I think it's starting to unravel. At the ground level, it's a lot worse than what the media and what the news and the government whores are telling us. They don't want us to know, or maybe they don't even know. They're clueless. They're out in la la land. So anyways, that's about as much time as I got on this stupid video capture software. So, see ya.